Okay, we should now be live for Tech Talks. And for today's session, we were going to talk about using some Panopto tools for different kinds of student engagement. Ben is going to show us a few things, and then hopefully we'll have some time for some conversation and questions at the end. Right now, we're spread all over Spokane. Ben's at home, and I'm at SCC, and Nick's at SFCC. So the joys of Zoom meetings.
Zoom meetings.
Hey, and that's how Tech Talk started, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we did not start in the same place. So
That's true.
one of the questions we often get as instructional designers is, how do I know if students are engaged in my videos? And you know, it's pretty straightforward. You can look at the analytics. What's not really straightforward is some of the disappointment that faculty will see when students aren't engaged in those videos and that lecture content, because we know students engaged in the learning materials are the students that are doing better on assessments and are more prepared for bigger projects and exams, things like that. And so, you know, assessing that engagement in an on-ground class is pretty simple. We can, you know, in a live class, there's a lot of different ways to engage learners in there and see if they're understanding our concepts. We can have breakout discussions, things like that. But in the online environment, we've got to be a little more intentional about it. And one of the ways is some of the tools that are available within Panopto that are built in. And they've come out over the last couple of years, and they're getting to be a little bit more refined, and they're a little more established. And so what we're going to talk about today is how to embed quizzes within your Panopto videos. I'm going to show you what not to do with adding links to videos. And then I'm going to show you how to link YouTube videos with your Panopto videos. Unfortunately, I know Susan's here on the call with Caleb. She'd asked about linking other Panopto videos within there. But for now, it's only YouTube videos, which I think is strange because Panopto is its own product.
Yeah, Nick, I thought, or Ben, I thought you were able to embed an existing Panopto clip within a different Panopto clip, but it's only through YouTube, huh?
Well, for one of the tools that I'll show you, yeah, there are streams too, and so we can jump into that and see how that works.
Okay, maybe if we have time.
Yeah, definitely. But interesting that they came out with a YouTube extension first. It must be a demand.
Interesting.
Yeah, so jumping into it, I'll go ahead and share my screen. Because we're talking about Panopto, I think it's worth mentioning some of the resources that we have available from our faculty development homepage. So if you're interested in learning more about Panopto and some of the resources available, if you scroll down here, you can see that we have a whole module on introduction to Panopto. And so that can help you get started with some of our resources. If you click on it, it'll take you to that exact module, and some of this material is there. And so we have some basics and then video quizzes, and then some stuff about captioning and using it for student presentations. It's a pretty robust tool. It's kind of the jack of all trades. And so that's why we're sticking with it. So we're going to kind of take this presentation and this tutorial from the point of view where you know how to create videos. And so we're going to jump into a course that has a video. And so I'm going to use a test course that I'm in. And so we're going to kind of play around with this video. And the first thing that we have to do is I'm going to show you how to edit the video and add a few different components to it. And then we'll throw it in a course and connect it to your grade book and see how that works from an auto-graded point of view and from a student perspective. So we've got this video here. It's about Panopto analytics that I made over the summer. And you know, when you see your videos here, you can go ahead and highlight over them and edit them. And that's how we'll do the quizzes. One thing to point out is when you start getting into adding quiz questions and really editing your videos and you're using it as assessments, it's key to know where those videos are. And organization is pretty important when it comes to Panopto. Caleb gave a really good talk last week about organizing your Panopto videos. But when you need to come back to your video and you want to edit it, it's hard to remember if you keep it if you create that video in your current term and then a couple terms go by and you can't remember, was that fall 19 or winter 18 when I created this video? And so My recommendation is if you're going to get into putting in quiz questions, go ahead and create master folders. The master folder allows you, and that's just, kind of a term that we use, but it's going to allow you to keep everything organized. And so the master folder from your dashboard can be something you create from your Canvas dashboard, scroll down and click start a new course. And so, maybe you're teaching this learning analytics course and you teach it every term, you'd call it learning analytics master. And so that's one way of creating it. And then when you create your videos, you go into that master course and you create that video there, or you upload it there. That way you don't lose track. Caleb, am I vibing with what your recommendations were last week?
Well, yeah, so there's actually two different ways you can do it. You can do it like you're saying by creating a master course in Canvas, but you can also just create a folder in Panopto. And that was actually what Jerry was recommending. I think either way works fine. I don't know that one is better than the other. I think it's whatever workflow you are comfortable with. Either way, the point is to collect all your videos into one location rather than having them float around in a bunch of different course shells over the last 5 years.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that's a good recommendation. We'll put that in the information on that in the show notes on YouTube. So that aside, now that we have some of our videos created, we go into that master course or wherever folder you're locating them and go ahead and click into the edit button there. This is the editing tool, and I'm on one screen, so let me move some of my Zoom stuff around. This is the editing tool, and some of our resources will show you kind of how to trim the beginning and end, and if you want to trim out any pieces in the middle. This part here along the bottom is your timeline, and so it shows the different aspects of your video. And so if I wanted to, click ahead, to make sure what aspects, what sections of the video I'm at, I can go ahead, I can click play and listen to it, go, okay. And then when I want to go ahead and start beginning adding quiz questions, I want to make sure I'm at the right point in time. So say 3 minutes is where I want to add it. And I can go ahead and go over to quizzes. And it's as simple as saying add a quiz. And then we can build it right here. You can give the quiz a name. So maybe if you have multiple quizzes, it can be quiz 1 or 2 or 3. You go ahead and add your prompt here. And you have a few different question types. You have multiple choice, true, false, multiple select, fill in the blank. I don't recommend fill in the blank. It's hard to auto grade that. But these are good options to choose from. I can go ahead, add a question. Yeah. Jerry Troop is a Canvas wizard, true or false. And then here's the option to add some feedback. So, you can type in Jerry studied at the School of Canvas Wizardry, or whatever feedback that you want for your learners to receive once they've answered that quiz. And it's one feedback option for true or false. Go ahead and make sure you choose the correct answer so that students can get that information. Now, I've got one question here. I can add more by clicking add a question, and I can put in as many as I want, essentially. And so that's at this time point. I can add more at different time points throughout the video. I'll show you how to do that. When I click done though, so for this specific timestamp of the quiz, 2 minutes and 59 seconds, I have some options that I can go ahead and choose. I can allow retakes. I can show them their quiz grade. And I can even block the advancement in the video until they've answered this quiz. And so they can't just go ahead and skip over it. And that's one option a lot of folks are interested in choosing. If I want to add a quiz at a different point, I can go ahead and select that point and add a quiz again. And so I'm at 6:03 on my timestamp. I click add a quiz, and I can kind of build this quiz out. But I'm going to stop for now. I'm going to apply it. So it's going to process, and it's going to take a little while, which is fine. To show you how to add other aspects to your course. I'm going to jump back into the edit feature, which is that pencil icon. And so this is me playing around earlier. We can see that right here, here are the aspects, the interactive aspects that we have in this video. At 3 minutes, there's a quiz. We can add other interactions. And so like I mentioned, we can add YouTube videos. We can even add links. I have noticed though that add a web page feature, I've never been able to get that to work successfully. So the idea there is that your video will stop and then a website will pop up. Every time I've tried that, it hasn't been able to actually connect with the website. So I don't know if that's broken. Nick or Caleb, have you had any experience of getting that to work? And am I missing anything?
I haven't tried that particular tool before. I wonder if it might be a security setting on our Panopto configuration.
That's kind of what I was investigating, because I was like, oh, that'd be really cool to then, link or show up a section of your course, right? If you have like a syllabus quiz maybe, or an assignment explanation video.
Sure.
And then you go and show a screenshot or that whole website. That'd be kind of a nice place to put something like that. It'd be functional, but it doesn't work on my end anyway. So let's stay away from that.
We'll talk to Jerry about that and see if it's something that we can fix or if it's just not working as intended.
I was just going to chime in quickly because I've used it before, but that would have been at another institution, so a different Panopto instance. And the thing that I found was the links had to allow for an HTTPS connection. And they had to be able to be embedded in an iframe. So think about embedding a web page into, a page in Canvas using iframe. It has to work through that portal. So I'm not sure what might be going on there, but I've used it for like Poll Everywhere, for instance. If I didn't want to use the quiz feature directly in Canvas, I could bring in a URL from another one, but maybe we'll have to do some more testing.
Yeah, sure. When you explain that, it sounds like when I'm standing in a mirror that's in front of me and behind me, and I see myself in infinity. That's kind of where my brain goes. That's about as long as I can understand you, Nick. But what I have figured out is how to add a YouTube video to this stream here. And so if we can splice in YouTube videos into your Panopto videos, and you might be looking at me or thinking, why would I want to do that? Well, what do you often do in class during a lecture? You talk for a while, you assess students, you may play a video, and this would be a good representation of performing that. So I'll show you how to do that. Say on my timeline, I'm at 3:52. I want to add that YouTube video under contents. I can go ahead and select that icon. And if we click on it, this brings us up some of the information that we need to add. Oops, sorry. Looks like I'm goofing it. Let me try again. Should be over here. Maybe right here. Okay. No, yep, that's where it is. And then we have to put the link to the video right here, and then you can put your time frame of that video. So we put the link here. So I've got one video here. This is from one of my favorite futurists, Alexander. He's a pretty cool dude, and he gives a weekly talk in October on scary stories. And he's got an epic beard. And then what I want to play here is the time frame of which that video I want to play. So I don't necessarily want to play the whole video, just a snippet. And so we can put in, a minute 26, and I want it to end whatever point you feel is important, say a minute 35. I've got a few options here. I can take out the YouTube controls. I can take out autoplay, but I think autoplay is pretty handy there too. Go ahead and click done, and then you click apply. And that's being processed and added to your video. And so we click OK. It's going to refresh. Let me pause it. And we've got two elements in here. We've added a quiz and we've added a YouTube video. We can add a lot more if we want, but I think this is a good place to start and look at it. So we've added some interactive elements. I think the next section to then do while this is processing is to add it to your course. And so let me go ahead and pull up a course that I'm in. We'll throw it in the test class. And so I've added this module here. And how we add this to the course is you can do it a few different ways, right? I mean, you can share your videos with your students through an email, through an announcement. You take the link and you share it with them. Or you can decide to make it an assignment that's built into the grade book that auto grades. That's an element that a lot of instructors want to do because they want that carrot for that student to encourage them to watch that video. And so you can do that by building an assignment. So I went here and I clicked, and I went one of my modules, clicked assignment, and that's what this is here. And so right now it's an empty assignment. And so let me show you how to add that video. Go ahead and click edit. We want to give it some points. And so the points work, basically it divides the amount of questions you have by the amount of points. So if I have one question, like I did in that example, that question is going to be worth 4 points. If I had 100 questions and this assignment's worth 4 points, you know, each question is worth, I don't know, do the math, not even worth, you know, a quarter of a point. So that's how good I am at math. And so think about it that there's no way to really control that or give other questions more points. You're going to have to let go of that control there. So think about that. And then under submission type, this is where you're going to select external tool. So it's an external tool because it's really connecting this assignment to Panopto, and that's where the quiz is. It's not a thing in Canvas. It's not something that a student submits. So we select external tool, and then you're going to click find. And you're going to dig around in here until you find Panopto. What this list is here is it's a list of all the different tools that connect with Canvas. And so you're going to look for Panopto recordings. When you do that, it's going to pull up a list of all the videos that you have in whatever folder that you're using. And so this is the video that I created, the quiz in. I'm going to select it and I'm going to click insert. However, if you're pulling from a master course, you could go ahead and do that. This pulls up your Panopto folders. And so you could go ahead and you can go find that Panopto folder and click on that video. We're going to insert it. So now this assignment is inserted. This video is inserted as an assignment. You can do your due dates and then we'll publish it. And so this is what it's going to look like. If we jump in as a student, I'll give you a little peek of what that looks like, and then we'll open it up for any questions. It should be published. They should have access to it. I'm going to go in as Sketch.
That's not something you can do, Susan.
Oh.
This is your version of student view, but it's kind of a cool thing to do.
Yeah.
Secret stuff.
That's secret admin stuff.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, they can, but it's
Oh.
totally fine. Yeah. Susan was super excited about the act as user, but instructors can't do that, sadly. Well,
It is
maybe
a
not.
pretty-
Sadly. It's probably for the best that they can.
It's
But
probably for the best.
It's a pretty fancy tool and I love it. So I'll go ahead and jump in here. We'll see if this worked. I'm going to cut out the talk. And I believe we had one at 3 minutes.
Yep.
So I tried to skip ahead. It prompted me to answer this question. So a good way to check if students are understanding the concepts that you're trying to explain to them. I can click true or false. I get the feedback here. I can click review. If I had written feedback on the specific question, I could get some information here. Then I could continue with the video, I believe. Ooh, does anybody remember where I put the video?
I think it was about 6 minutes. Yeah, is where you
Okay.
put the
Let's
YouTube
jump
video.
ahead. We'll see if we can find it. I'm not seeing it.
Hmm.
But it was such a short clip, maybe we're skipping over it.
Yeah, you only embedded 10 seconds, so.
Yeah, let me jump back and we can find it. 352.
Yeah, we were wrong. Sorry.
You okay?
Not even close.
Not even close.
Let's play it.
Oh,
Oh,
neat.
pops are right in there. Auto plays because you had autoplay
Autoplays.
turned on.
Yeah.
And then it goes right back to Panopto and keeps playing.
Back to our video. So just like what you would do in a classroom, minus all the technical hiccups and glitches.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Now, Skitch has submitted this, right? They have completed their exam. If they go to grades, they should receive a grade right away for this. And there it is, the Panopto Analytics lecture. We can see Skitch's score that they've received already.
So as the instructor, at a glance, you can see how many students have viewed the video because you know how many students have completed the quiz.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I like it. I like
So
it.
pretty slick tool. Shout out to Brian Alexander, the bearded wonder, who's my favorite futurist. He gives a weekly talk called Future Trends Forum, talking about higher education and the future of how higher education is going to be shaped. But he also does really excellent scary stories, reenactments, and tellings.
Super cool.
Yeah, so open it up to questions, thoughts, ways to use this.
So if you can link the URL that you get from YouTube,
Mhm.
Panopto gives the video a URL. Why couldn't you link that?
So I think
why is it only just YouTube?
So I think the tool that Ben was using, it's probably set up on the back end, so it only is looking for YouTube addresses and it knows how to parse that into the video stream.
Okay.
But Ben, I think there is another way to add a Panopto video stream into another Panopto video, and I wonder if we have a couple minutes to do that. Kind of putting you on the spot here because we didn't practice that part.
I might be able to take this one because that's using Panopto clips, I think is what the cool tool is
Is
called.
it clips or streams?
But thank you, Ben. That is
I think
super
it might be
cool.
clips.
There, Nick, you should have co-hosting abilities too if you wanted to.
Here,
pull one up.
let's do a quick test.
Yeah, let's try it.
Let's do
We're all going to
this.
learn this one together.
Yeah, there we go.
Sorry. I
No,
didn't
no,
mean
no,
to
this
be-
is great. No, this is,
Didn't
I-
mean to be-
no, not, you're not at all. This is part of the fun of Tech Talks is sometimes we go off topic and we
Okay.
like to roll with it.
Yeah, that's the fun stuff. Okay, so I've just opened up a little demo video. I'm gonna jump into the editor just like Ben did.
Yeah.
And then if I remember correctly, it's been a while since I've done this, but if I click the plus icon to the left of the cut tool in my editor,
Yep.
it's right above the timeline. There's an add clip, and this is the way I've done it before. Let's see if it works. I need to find another video to insert in here. Let's see what
So
happens.
Another complete session inserted into this session's timeline.
Yeah, so it'll essentially reference, I think, just like Susan's saying, or like the YouTube video that Ben inserted, another pre-existing Panopto video.
Yep.
And I wish I had another video in my, here, let's see if I can grab one from my meeting recordings. Oh, where are all my?
You don't have any meeting recordings. Click on the little arrow next to my folder.
Yeah, let's see. Oh, here we go. I'll use my e-learning academy. Perfect. So then when we insert, it should
Okay.
insert right where your cursor is on the timeline. And then you've got this whole video down here, and it's going to be labeled separately that you can now adjust. So I could actually cut content from this. Say I didn't want the start of this. I would just drag from that end until I got to whatever point I wanted it to actually start for at least the purposes of this video. Then I could do that. So on the other side, you can kind of see
Nice.
there's those two gray portions on either side. Those would be cut out when somebody's viewing it. You can also do that with the normal timeline. That's just one of their editing tools. But
Perfect.
Yeah. So
I'm not-
like so what I'm imagining is a use case scenario for this is let's say I have a lecture video that I recorded 2 years ago and it's 45 minutes long and I need to go back and update 2 minutes out of it. I could re-record the entire thing, but I could also just go and record that 2-second clip, 2-minute clip, and I can go into the original, insert a clip, and just add that 2 minutes into my much longer previous video. And I saved myself 40 minutes by doing it that way.
Yes, yes. Or the content in your textbook has changed.
Yes, exactly.
So now chapter 6 is chapter 8.
Yep.
So you have to pull it out and rearrange it like that.
Yep, exactly.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Nick, will you go click on that plus icon? What were the other options there?
Oh.
Yeah, this is another way it looks like that you can get to the quiz, YouTube, webpage. I haven't used Stream before, so I have to admit I'm not sure what
Click on
that
it and see
is.
what it does. I'm just curious.
Oh, you'd be able to drop in another literally stream. So in this case, it was a single stream from Zoom. I'd be able to jump and throw in another primary video in there. So if I wanted to have another element, but that would be.
That's a little more complicated.
Yeah, I don't think it would be necessary if it was already
Yeah,
here.
for the kind of use case you're thinking of, add a clip is what you would want to do.
Got it.
Yeah, this would be more so if you had 2 recordings already existing on your computer that you wanted to upload into Panopto. This would be how you add that next piece of it.
And that would be something like if you had a lab demonstration, you recorded 5 minutes on your phone in the lab. Now you want to put it in with your existing video and do commentary over top of it or something like that. You could do that with these streams, but that's a bit more of a complicated editing feature. So this is really cool because I think this is a new interface for this tool. I know you were previously able to add other video clips, but it was a little harder to do. This is a lot more streamlined than it used to be, I think.
Yeah, and this really adds to the functionality of Panopto because for so long it's been so limited, really, and I think this is maybe making it a little more modern, a little more user-friendly.
Making it more like a real video editor.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Well, do we have any other comments or questions? Any sparks of inspiration that this has given you?
I'm good. What student engagement quizzes. So what was I thinking about the grades? No,
Nope.
I lost it.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I do have one question. Okay, why now when you go to edit a video that you've already created, it does that 0%, it doesn't go right to the edit. If you haven't ever edited the video before, it doesn't go right there anymore. You have to wait till it like processes or uploads, or I don't even know what it's doing.
That's a good question, Susan. I asked Jerry that too. I was wondering if maybe the videos are being archived. And Jerry said, we need to be more patient. And so I'm going to take that. It took a few minutes. And so I think that's a good advice. So thank you, Jerry.
Okay, fine. I hadn't noticed it from
So
last year.
Well, so my suspicion is, and this is from talking to Jerry, Panopto is realizing that the contract that we signed with them gives us just unlimited storage forever. And Jerry said we had something like 100 terabytes of video or something crazy. Do you remember, Nick? It was a large number that he cited.
I can look really quick. I'm actually curious now.
Okay, but anyway, I suspect that on Canvas's end of their system, they have started doing things to kind of compress or archive videos so that their storage capacity is easier on their budget. Okay. And I think sometimes we're seeing that when we click on a video that's been there for a long time and suddenly it takes a while to load. It's probably unzipping it or unarchiving it in order to bring it back up. Okay. That's just my guess. I don't know that for sure.
It's a good guess. All right.
But that is something a couple people have noticed over the last quarter or so. Yeah. So I think it's a new thing that Panopto has started doing for older videos.
Okay. All right. So I'll just go make a sandwich or a cup of coffee. And I just really what I'll do is, because I've been adding closed caption to some of my already recorded videos.
That's great.
And so I'll just like upload and then maybe upload another one. And while that's processing, I'll start on the one, and I could do that in a day.
Yeah. So Nick, all right. So Nick says currently we have almost 67,000 hours of video stored on our Panopto.
Wow.
So that's a lot,
That's
because
a
that's everybody's recorded Zoom meetings go into Panopto. If they record into the cloud, any lecture videos that they've recorded. So yeah, it's a lot of content.
It's a lot of content.
All right. Well, I think we're about out of time for today's Tech Talk. Ben, thank you for running us through Panopto quizzes and embedded videos and embedded clips and connecting it to the gradebook. Super cool functionality. Not that difficult to do, honestly. Like, I thought it was going to be more complicated than that. It's really not. But hopefully that gives people some ideas for engaging students with their videos, ensuring that students are watching the videos and paying attention. And yeah, I think that's fantastic.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining us. We will return in November with new Tech Talks. We don't know what our first November one is going to be yet, because we still need to figure out our schedule. But all that will be in our monthly newsletter. So keep an eye out for that. All right. I'm going to end the YouTube stream. All right. And we are off of YouTube.